Have you ever looked at someone in their 70s who seems decades younger than their age, while another person in their 40s already struggles with constant fatigue, aching joints, slow healing, poor memory, and declining energy? What if the difference isn't simply genetics? What if it comes down to something happening inside trillions of tiny living factories? Your cells. Every second your body replaces millions of cells. Tiny molecular machines repair damaged DNA, recycle worn-out proteins, eliminate harmful waste, generate fresh energy, and rebuild tissues you don't even realize were injured. For the first 3 decades of life, this repair system operates with astonishing efficiency. A cut heals quickly, muscles recover after exercise, the skin produces collagen effortlessly, the brain forms new connections rapidly, your immune system reacts with remarkable speed. Then, almost silently, something begins to change, not overnight, not because a biological clock suddenly strikes 30. But because many of the repair programs that once worked around the clock begin slowing down little by little. Scientists have observed gradual reductions in mitochondrial efficiency, accumulation of damaged proteins, declining stem cell activity, increased chronic inflammation, changes in hormonal signaling, and a growing burden of cellular damage. The fascinating part: these changes are not entirely fixed. Modern research in aging biology has revealed that many of these repair systems remain remarkably adaptable. Lifestyle, nutrition, sleep, physical activity, stress management, and environmental factors can all influence how effectively your cells maintain themselves throughout adulthood. This is why researchers around the world no longer see aging as merely the passage of time. Instead, they increasingly study aging as the gradual loss of the body's ability to repair itself. Today, we are going deep inside your body, into the hidden world where longevity is decided. We'll explore why repair slows after 30, what really happens inside your mitochondria, why inflammation quietly accelerates aging, how damaged proteins accumulate, what Nobel Prize-winning discoveries have taught us about cellular recycling, and why some people seem to age dramatically slower than others. Most importantly, we'll examine evidence-based lifestyle practices that support the body's natural repair mechanisms. Not miracle cures, not impossible promises, just fascinating biology explained in a way that anyone can understand. Because once you understand how your cells work, you'll never look at your body the same way again. Imagine an enormous city, millions of buildings, roads, power plants, waste management systems, repair crews, security forces, communication networks. Now imagine that city never sleeps. Every road repaired while traffic continues. Every building renovated while people remain inside. Every broken machine replaced without shutting down the city. That city is your body. Every single cell functions like a self-contained miniature civilization. Inside each one are thousands of proteins performing specialized jobs. Tiny transport systems move nutrients. Molecular factories manufacture enzymes. Power plants called mitochondria generate energy. Recycling centers dispose of damaged materials. Security systems identify invading microbes. DNA libraries store enormous amounts of genetic information, and repair teams constantly patrol for damage. Even when you're sitting completely still, your body is unimaginably busy. Every heartbeat, every breath, every blink, every thought, every movement depends on trillions of coordinated cellular events. Yet this extraordinary system faces continuous attack. Sunlight damages DNA. Pollutants generate harmful molecules. Viruses invade cells. Normal metabolism produces reactive oxygen species. Proteins naturally wear out. Cell membranes become damaged. Even breathing oxygen, which keeps us alive, gradually contributes to molecular wear and tear. Life itself creates damage. That sounds frightening until you realize something extraordinary. Your body evolved incredibly sophisticated repair mechanisms. DNA repair enzymes patrol chromosomes looking for mistakes. Antioxidant systems neutralize excessive reactive molecules. Autophagy removes broken cellular components. Stem cells replace worn-out tissues. The immune system clears defective cells. Protein quality control systems refold damaged proteins or destroy them. For decades, these repair teams usually stay ahead of the damage. Youth isn't the absence of injury. Youth is efficient repair. This changes everything, because aging isn't simply accumulating years. It's gradually losing the ability to recover from the damage that naturally occurs every day. Think about children. They fall, scratch themselves, recover astonishingly fast. Professional athletes in their 20s often bounce back after intense training sessions within a day or two. Meanwhile, many adults notice soreness lasting much longer. Small injuries linger. Sleep feels less refreshing. Recovery requires greater effort. This isn't imagination. It reflects measurable biological changes occurring within tissues. Researchers describe aging as a gradual imbalance between damage and repair. For many years, repair exceeds damage. Then eventually, damage begins accumulating slightly faster than the body removes it. Not dramatically, not instantly, just enough that year after year. The difference becomes visible. Wrinkles, reduced muscle strength, slower wound healing, declining metabolic flexibility, changes in memory, reduced resilience to stress. These outward signs all begin inside cells long before they appear in the mirror. One of the greatest misconceptions about aging is that everything changes at exactly 30. Reality is much more interesting. There is no biological alarm clock that suddenly switches off repair mechanisms on your 30th birthday. Instead, different systems age at different speeds. Muscle mass slowly begins declining if not actively maintained. Collagen production gradually decreases. Bone remodeling shifts over time. Hormonal patterns evolve. Immune responses subtly change. Stem cell function slowly becomes less efficient. Mitochondria experience cumulative stress. These gradual shifts often become noticeable sometime after the third decade, though the timing varies widely between individuals. Lifestyle, genetics, nutrition, physical activity, sleep quality, and environmental exposures all influence how rapidly these processes unfold. This explains why two people born the same year can appear biologically decades apart. Scientists increasingly distinguish chronological age from biological age. Chronological age counts birthdays. Biological age reflects how well your tissues continue functioning. Some 60-year-olds possess biological markers resembling people 20 years younger. Others experience accelerated aging much earlier. The exciting implication is that biology remains responsive. Daily choices influence cellular health throughout life. Not perfectly, not infinitely, but meaningfully. Now let's meet the true stars of this story. The mitochondria. If your cells are cities, mitochondria are the power stations. Nearly every movement, every heartbeat, every nerve impulse, every immune response. Every thought requires energy. That energy comes largely from tiny molecules called ATP. And mitochondria manufacture most of it. Each cell may contain hundreds, sometimes thousands, of mitochondria depending on its energy needs. Heart muscle cells contain enormous numbers. Brain cells depend heavily upon them. Skeletal muscles rely on them every time you move. For decades, scientists considered mitochondria nothing more than energy producers. Today we know they are much more. They communicate with the nucleus, help regulate inflammation, influence cell survival, participate in immune responses, control programmed cell death, generate signaling molecules, even affect aging itself. Healthy mitochondria produce abundant energy efficiently. Damaged mitochondria become less effective. They may generate more reactive oxygen species, produce less ATP, disrupt cellular communication, trigger inflammatory responses. Imagine a power plant producing less electricity while releasing more pollution. That captures the essence of mitochondrial dysfunction. The remarkable thing, your body possesses quality control systems specifically designed to monitor mitochondrial health. Old mitochondria can divide, fuse together, exchange contents, repair themselves, or be selectively removed through specialized recycling processes. This constant maintenance keeps the energy network functioning until those maintenance systems gradually become less efficient. Researchers studying centenarians, people who live beyond 100, often find something fascinating. Not necessarily perfect genes, not superhuman physiology, but surprisingly resilient mitochondria. Healthy mitochondrial function appears closely associated with healthier aging. This doesn't mean perfect mitochondria guarantee exceptional longevity. Human biology is far too complex for that, but mitochondrial health consistently emerges as one of the central themes in aging research. Physical activity stimulates production of new mitochondria. Adequate sleep supports mitochondrial maintenance. Balanced nutrition supplies essential building blocks. Managing chronic stress influences mitochondrial signaling. Avoiding smoking reduces oxidative burden. Even regular exposure to daylight helps regulate circadian rhythms that indirectly affect mitochondrial function. In other words, everyday habits continually communicate with your cellular power plants. Some messages strengthen them, others gradually weaken them. Now, imagine owning an expensive luxury car. Every day, microscopic dust accumulates, tiny scratches appear, oil slowly degrades. Filters collect debris, nothing catastrophic, just ordinary wear. If maintenance continues, the vehicle performs beautifully for decades. Ignore maintenance, and eventually even the finest engine struggles. Your cells operate similarly. Proteins constantly experience damage. DNA develops errors. Mitochondria age. Cell membranes wear down. The question isn't whether damage occurs. It always does. The question is, how efficiently does your body repair it? Scientists often describe health as dynamic balance, not perfection. Balance. Damage repair, every hour, every day, every year. When repair keeps pace, cells remain healthy. When repair falls behind, aging accelerates. That realization transforms the conversation entirely. Instead of asking, "How do I stop aging?" researchers increasingly ask, "How do we support the body's existing repair systems for as long as possible?" That subtle shift has opened entirely new fields of scientific discovery. And one of the most exciting discoveries involves something almost unbelievable. Sometimes the healthiest thing a cell can do is clean house. Imagine never throwing anything away. Broken furniture, old electronics, cracked dishes, worn-out clothes. Eventually, even a beautiful home becomes cluttered. Moving becomes difficult. Finding useful tools becomes frustrating. Function declines. Cells face the same challenge. Proteins eventually become damaged. Mitochondria wear out. Cellular machinery reaches the end of its useful life. Without an effective cleaning system, the clutter accumulates. Fortunately, nature anticipated this problem long ago. Every healthy cell contains an extraordinary recycling program known as autophagy. The word literally means Self-eating. It sounds alarming, but it is one of the most elegant survival systems biology has ever discovered. Autophagy identifies damaged cellular components, packages them into tiny recycling compartments, breaks them down, then recycles many of the raw materials into new cellular structures. It's less like destruction and more like intelligent renovation, old parts removed. Useful materials recovered, fresh components constructed. Imagine renovating a house while reusing bricks, wood, steel, and glass from the old structure. That's remarkably similar to what your cells accomplish every day. For decades, scientists knew autophagy existed, but its enormous importance became dramatically clearer after groundbreaking research identified key molecular mechanisms governing this process. The discovery transformed our understanding of aging, neurodegenerative disease, immunity, metabolism, and cellular health. Today, autophagy remains one of the most actively studied processes in longevity science. Why? Because cells that efficiently recycle damaged material often function better under stress. However, like many repair systems, autophagy tends to become less efficient with age. The recycling trucks still operate, just not always as effectively. Damaged materials linger longer. Cellular clutter slowly increases. Function gradually declines. Researchers are now investigating how nutrition, exercise, sleep, circadian rhythms, and metabolic signals influence this remarkable recycling process. While much remains under investigation, it's increasingly clear that everyday behaviors can affect cellular housekeeping. And when the house stays cleaner, everything inside tends to work better. But there is another invisible force quietly influencing every cell in your body. Inflammation. Most people think inflammation only means swelling after an injury. In reality, inflammation is one of the immune system's most powerful communication tools. When controlled appropriately, it saves lives. A cut becomes inflamed to fight infection. A virus triggers immune defenses. Damaged tissues attract repair cells. Temporary inflammation is essential. Problems arise when inflammation never completely switches off. Instead of brief repair, signals. The body experiences persistent, low-level inflammatory activity. Scientists sometimes refer to this phenomenon as inflammaging because chronic low-grade inflammation is commonly associated with aging. This persistent inflammatory environment can interfere with cellular repair, mitochondrial function, insulin signaling, vascular health, and tissue regeneration. The causes are complex: poor sleep, excess visceral fat, physical inactivity, smoking, environmental pollutants, chronic psychological stress, certain dietary patterns, persistent infections. Aging immune cells often. No single factor explains everything. Instead, many small influences gradually combine over decades. Imagine constantly hearing background construction noise. Not loud enough to stop conversations, but always present. Eventually, the continuous distraction affects performance. Chronic inflammation behaves similarly. Not dramatic, not immediately obvious, but continuously influencing cellular behavior. Supporting healthy inflammatory balance has therefore become one of the major goals of preventive medicine and healthy aging research. And as you'll discover in the next part, the body possesses surprisingly powerful ways to help regulate this balance naturally. By now, we've explored something extraordinary. Your body is not slowly falling apart simply because time is passing. Instead, your cells are constantly balancing two powerful forces: damage and repair. As long as repair stays ahead, health flourishes. When repair gradually falls behind, the visible signs of aging begin to emerge. The encouraging news is that many of the body's repair systems remain surprisingly responsive throughout life. Scientists once believed aging was almost entirely programmed by our genes. Today, a more nuanced understanding has emerged. Genes certainly matter, but how those genes are expressed and how well our cells maintain themselves is influenced by countless signals from our daily lives. Every meal, every night's sleep, every walk, every stressful experience, every hour spent in sunlight, every period of rest, and every movement communicates information to your cells. Your lifestyle becomes a language, and your cells are always listening. So the question becomes, what messages are we sending? Let's begin with perhaps the most underestimated repair process in the human body: sleep. Many people think sleep is simply a time when the brain switches off. Nothing could be further from reality. While you sleep, your brain is actively reorganizing memories. Hormones shift into carefully timed patterns. Immune cells patrol tissues. Proteins are synthesized, DNA repair increases, growth hormone is released, particularly during deep sleep. And throughout the body, countless maintenance activities become more active. One remarkable discovery in neuroscience revealed that the brain possesses a specialized waste clearance system, often called the glymphatic system. During sleep, fluid moves more effectively through brain tissue, helping remove metabolic waste products that accumulate while we're awake. Think of a busy office building. Throughout the day, employees work continuously. Documents pile up, trash bins fill, coffee cups accumulate, repairs are postponed because work cannot stop. Then night arrives, cleaning crews enter, maintenance workers repair equipment. Supplies are restocked, everything is prepared for the next day. Sleep serves a similar purpose for much of the body. When sleep becomes chronically insufficient, the maintenance crew never has enough time to finish its work. Small problems begin accumulating. Inflammatory markers may rise. Insulin sensitivity can decline. Hormonal balance shifts. Recovery slows. Decision-making becomes less efficient. Immune defenses weaken. Researchers consistently find that sleep quality, not merely sleep duration, is closely associated with healthier aging. Deep, uninterrupted sleep appears particularly important for restoration. Fortunately, improving sleep doesn't always require complicated interventions. Maintaining consistent bedtimes, reducing bright light exposure late in the evening, seeking natural daylight early in the morning, limiting caffeine later in the day, creating a cool, dark, sleeping environment, and allowing the mind time to unwind before bed can all support healthier sleep patterns. These simple habits may seem ordinary, yet their cumulative effects on cellular repair can be profound. Now let's talk about movement. Not punishment, not endless hours in a gym. Simply movement. Imagine leaving a sophisticated machine unused for years. Its gears stiffen, lubrication deteriorates, electrical systems become unreliable. Now imagine operating that machine regularly, but appropriately. It remains responsive, efficient, functional. Your body behaves in much the same way. Exercise is often described as a stressor. That sounds negative. But in biology, certain controlled stressors produce beneficial adaptations. This principle is known as hormesis. A moderate challenge encourages the body to become stronger. When you perform resistance training, tiny microscopic damage occurs within muscle fibers. The body responds by rebuilding those fibers stronger than before. When you engage in aerobic exercise, your heart becomes more efficient. Blood vessels adapt. The lungs improve oxygen delivery. Mitochondria multiply. Energy production becomes more effective. Even the brain benefits. Physical activity stimulates molecules that support communication between neurons and encourage healthy brain plasticity. One fascinating adaptation involves mitochondrial biogenesis. In simple terms, exercise encourages your cells to produce additional mitochondria. More efficient power plants, more energy production, greater resilience. This partially explains why physically active individuals often maintain better endurance, metabolic health, and independence as they age. Importantly, more exercise isn't always better. Extremely excessive training without adequate recovery may increase stress rather than resilience. The goal is consistency: walking, cycling, swimming, strength training, yoga, dancing, gardening, anything that encourages regular movement. Your cells don't require perfection. They respond to repetition. Now let's discuss food, not as calories, but as information. Every nutrient entering your body becomes part of an intricate communication network. Proteins provide amino acids for rebuilding tissues. Healthy fats help construct cell membranes and produce signaling molecules. Complex carbohydrates supply energy. Vitamins and minerals serve as cofactors for thousands of biochemical reactions. Fiber nourishes beneficial gut bacteria. Plant compounds called phytochemicals interact with cellular defense pathways. Food literally becomes part of your biology. Researchers studying populations with exceptional longevity consistently observe several common dietary characteristics. Large amounts of vegetables, regular consumption of legumes, whole grains, nuts, seeds, fruits, healthy fats adequate, but not excessive protein, relatively limited ultra-processed foods. This doesn't mean one magical food prevents aging. Instead, diverse, nutrient-rich eating patterns appear to support the body's natural maintenance systems. Colorful vegetables provide compounds that help cells manage oxidative stress. Fatty fish contributes omega-3 fatty acids important for brain and cardiovascular health. Beans supply fiber and plant protein. Fermented foods may support gut microbial diversity. Nuts provide healthy fats, minerals, and antioxidants. Every meal becomes an opportunity to supply raw materials for repair. Rather than searching for miracle supplements, many scientists emphasize building a consistently nourishing dietary pattern. The ordinary repeated thousands of times often matters more than the extraordinary performed once. This brings us to one of the most fascinating areas of longevity research: nutrient sensing. Your cells continuously evaluate their environment. Is food abundant? Is energy scarce? Should growth be prioritized or maintenance? These questions are coordinated through complex signaling pathways involving molecules such as AMPK, mTOR, insulin, and others. These systems help determine whether cells emphasize building, storing energy, recycling components, or conserving resources. Scientists continue studying how meal timing and energy balance influence these pathways. Some research suggests that periods without eating, such as the natural overnight fast between dinner and breakfast, allow the body to shift toward maintenance processes. This has generated great interest in time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting. However, it is important to approach these topics carefully. Fasting is not appropriate for everyone. People with diabetes, using certain medications, pregnant women, children, individuals with eating disorders, or those with specific medical conditions should seek professional guidance before making major dietary changes. The central lesson is not that everyone should fast aggressively. Rather, our cells evolved expecting periods of feeding and periods of rest. Constant grazing from morning until late at night may not always align with those ancient biological rhythms. Simply avoiding unnecessary late-night eating and allowing an appropriate overnight fasting window may support healthier metabolic regulation for many adults. Another remarkable player in cellular health lives somewhere most people rarely think about: the gut. Inside your digestive tract live trillions of microorganisms. Together they form the gut microbiome. These microbes assist digestion, produce vitamins, generate beneficial compounds called short-chain fatty acids, communicate with immune cells, influence inflammation, even interact with the brain through what scientists call the gut-brain axis. When microbial diversity decreases or harmful species become overly dominant, the resulting imbalance may influence metabolism, immunity, and inflammatory signaling. Supporting the microbiome generally involves surprisingly familiar habits: eating plenty of dietary fiber, including diverse plant foods, consuming fermented foods when appropriate, limiting excessive ultra-processed foods, avoiding unnecessary antibiotics, managing stress, sleeping well. Physical activity even appears to influence microbial diversity. Once again, many healthy habits reinforce one another. No system operates in isolation. Stress deserves special attention. Human beings evolved to survive short bursts of danger. A predator appears. The body releases stress hormones. Heart rate rises. Attention sharpens. Energy becomes immediately available. The threat passes. Recovery begins. Modern stress often behaves differently: emails, financial worries, traffic, constant notifications, work pressures, relationship challenges. The body may remain partially activated for weeks or even years. Chronically elevated stress hormones can influence sleep, inflammation, immune function, appetite regulation, and metabolic health. This doesn't mean stress alone causes aging. Life will always contain challenges. The difference lies in recovery. Healthy resilience requires both activation and restoration. Practices such as meditation, deep breathing, prayer, time in nature, meaningful social connection, music, creative hobbies, or simply quiet reflection may all help shift the nervous system toward recovery. Scientists increasingly recognize that emotional well-being influences physical biology through measurable pathways. The mind and body are not separate systems. They are different expressions of the same living organism. Another powerful influence often hides in plain sight: sunlight. Morning sunlight helps synchronize your circadian rhythm, your internal biological clock. Nearly every cell contains molecular clocks coordinating daily cycles of metabolism, hormone production, temperature regulation, immune activity, and repair. When circadian rhythms become disrupted by irregular schedules, excessive nighttime light exposure, or chronic sleep deprivation, these synchronized repair programs may lose efficiency. Seeking natural daylight soon after waking, maintaining relatively consistent sleep schedules, and reducing bright artificial light before bedtime help reinforce these biological rhythms. The sun is not merely a source of vitamin D. It is one of the body's oldest timing signals. Now let's revisit something we introduced earlier: inflammation. You may remember that inflammation itself isn't the enemy. Uncontrolled chronic inflammation is the concern. Fortunately, many healthy lifestyle practices converge on this same biological pathway. Regular exercise, nutritious eating, healthy body composition, adequate sleep, stress management. Not smoking, moderate alcohol consumption, or avoiding alcohol altogether, good oral hygiene. Treating chronic infections when necessary. Each of these habits may contribute to healthier inflammatory regulation. There is no single anti-inflammatory miracle. Instead, the body responds to patterns. Thousands of small choices gradually shape the environment in which your cells operate. One question often arises: what about supplements? Can they restart cellular repair? The honest scientific answer is, sometimes they help under specific circumstances. But no supplement can replace the biological foundations we've discussed. Certain nutrients may be appropriate for individuals with documented deficiencies. Vitamin D, vitamin B12, iron, omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, or others depending on personal needs. Researchers are also actively studying compounds such as spermidine, NAD's precursors, polyphenols, and various plant-derived molecules. Some findings are promising. Many questions remain unanswered. Most experts emphasize caution regarding products marketed as anti-aging miracles. Human biology is extraordinarily complex. If a supplement sounds too good to be true, it probably is. The most consistently supported interventions remain surprisingly familiar. Nutritious food, movement, sleep, stress management, healthy relationships, avoiding smoking, maintaining a healthy weight. These may not generate dramatic headlines, but decades of scientific evidence consistently support their benefits. Perhaps the most inspiring discovery in aging research is this: your biological future is not written in permanent ink. Researchers studying epigenetics have shown that environmental influences can affect how genes are expressed without changing the DNA sequence itself. Think of your genes as a vast library. Not every book is read every day. Cellular signals help determine which instructions become more active and which remain quieter. Lifestyle doesn't rewrite your genetic code, but it can influence how that code is used. This realization has transformed modern preventive medicine. Every healthy habit becomes more than a good intention. It becomes information delivered directly to your cells, messages encouraging maintenance, resilience, repair, adaptation. Imagine beginning today, not with impossible resolutions, but with one additional serving of vegetables, a 20-minute walk, going to bed 30 minutes earlier, turning off your phone before sleep, calling someone you love, spending 10 quiet minutes breathing deeply. Repeating those simple actions tomorrow and the day after, months become years. Thousands of healthy signals accumulate. Your cells respond continuously, not because they know it's Monday, or January, or your birthday. They respond because biology never stops listening. Every moment offers another opportunity to support repair. Will these habits stop aging? No, nothing can. Aging is part of being alive, but science increasingly suggests that how we age is influenced by the environments we create inside our bodies every single day. Healthy aging is not about chasing eternal youth. It is about preserving function. Strength, clarity, mobility, independence, vitality, the ability to continue enjoying life with the people we cherish. That is perhaps the greatest goal of all. So the next time you notice a wrinkle, feel tired after a busy week, or wonder whether your best years are behind you, remember this. Inside you, at this very moment, trillions of remarkable cells are still working tirelessly. Repairing, recycling, communicating, protecting, adapting. They have been doing so every second since before you were born. And with every nourishing meal, every restful night, every walk, every deep breath, every healthy choice, you help those extraordinary cells continue their work. Your body is not asking for perfection. It is asking for partnership. Because healthy aging doesn't happen through one miracle. It happens through millions of tiny repairs, repeated every single day. If you found this journey into the hidden world of your cells insightful, please take a moment to like this video, share it with your family and friends so they too can benefit from this knowledge, and subscribe to the channel for more science-backed content on health, longevity, and natural wellness. Thank you for listening, and until next time, take good care of yourself, because every healthy choice you make today is an investment your future self will appreciate.